Welcome back to another episode of Fridays Live,
the show where we bring in two Canadian artists each week for a Q&A and live performance.
I'm Alexa Huffman. Okay, so I'm here with Lindy Vopnfjord, who is both a Canadian folk rock solo artist and a member of the indie rock band Major Maker. His 2013 album, Young Waverer, was actually financed using crowdfunding. And as for the present, Lindy has a show in Hamilton on the 27th and another in Barrie on April 5th. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, it's great to be here.
So your experience way back in your childhood with the music then, how does it influence your music making now?
I think because I got up on stage early, I got experience performing for people, and I learned that it was really fun early on, and then I also realized early on that it was work and it was a job, and that it was something that I could actually do for a living because for all kinds of reasons, I guess, because by the time I was old enough to break out on my own, I had already had that much experience, and I had like a bit of a head start on other people, except those who were just naturally brilliant. And so I think the other way that it influenced me was because these Icelandic folk songs have, different kinds of melodies. They're actually very melodic, but in sort of minor keys and in different sort of darker ways. And I think that those melodies sort of were the most comforting to me, and I think they still are to this day.
All right. So you're also part of the band Major Maker. How is your solo music different from the band?
My solo music has always been sort of based in folk music, but definitely not in the kind of folk music that I'm hearing from like the top 10 like folk radio, which seems to me to be like really sort of traditional, like music for old farts, and I find that like some of these really young singers, and they dress up in these like sort of period piece costumes and sing their folk songs. I don't know. I think that'd be really fun. I guess I did that too when I was a kid. But so I think that my songwriting solo is based in like the folk tradition that I grew up with, as well as listening to all kinds of modern like 60s folk revivalist singer-songwriters, the songwriters of the 70s, and then of course all the other stuff that I listen to. Whereas the Major Maker thing is actually a collaboration between my friend Todor Kovakov, who actually produced my new record, and so him and I wrote all those songs together for Major Maker, and he's from Bulgaria. He went to like this really strict music school in Bulgaria, so he's got like a musical education that I could never possibly catch up to now. I mean, he's so far beyond any of us really, and. So when he comes up with some music, I mean, it's not going to be anything close to what I could come up with. He's just so beyond where I can reach musically, and he does it with such ease. And then I can bring it back into pop sort of world and make it pull all these strange chords together with a thread of melody that works.
So last year I saw you at North by Northeast. Are you going to play again this year? And what are your other future plans?
I'm planning a tour. It's called the Lazy Like the Moon tour. I'm teaming up with a flop-eared kid from Prince Edward Island, and so I'm going to be playing shows in his backyard coming up starting in April on the 15th. We play, down in Guelph and do the Golden Horseshoe. We're playing the Toronto, the Rivoli on the 18th on Good Friday. And solo acoustic, those are going to be really fun. Then we go to his backyard all the way out east. And so that'll take me to the middle of May. And then I come back. And then I go to Iceland shortly thereafter. I'm going to do a tour of Iceland. This band called Miri are going to be my backup band, and they're like an instrumental, like wild instrumental like band from the East Iceland. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be a blast. And then I come back and I'm going to play North by Northeast again, And then from there, I'm probably going to fly directly to Victoria and do all the western dates all the way back to Ontario. And then I go out east again. And then I'll be out there for a couple, 3 weeks doing dates out in Maritimes. And then I'm going to fly up to L'Anse aux Meadows, Newfoundland, where the first Viking settlement was in North America. And that was about 1,000 years ago they settled there. So this will be my second time up there. I was there last July. And then from there we just go through the summer of like different little festivals, and yeah, probably all of them are centered somehow around being Icelandic and being a Viking. This song is called Below the Canopy. It made it up to number 1 on the CBC Radio 3 Top 30 last year. All alone up there in a cabin above the trees, speaking in tongue-twisting words, singing the darkest melodies. And below the canopy, by the light of a flame, in the blackest of nights, I feel the same, I feel the same. Oh my love, my mind, you keep me guessing, but I can't draw the line. How do you know when it's time? Can we be lost in the wind? Can we get together again? Your memory stirs up the soul, making me feel so all alone. I wanna be a memory for your love. I want to be forgiven for all I've done. Can you tell me the best thing that I could have said? Because I feel the same, I feel the same. Oh my love, my mind, you keep me guessing, but I can't draw the line. How do you know when it's time? I can't remember what happened years before. Sometimes I wonder what I do it all for. You know where I am, you know where I'll be, you know where I am. She lives all alone up there in a cabin above the trees, speaking in tongue-twisting words, singing the darkest melodies. And below the canopy, by the light of a flame, in the blackest of nights, I feel the same, I feel the same. Oh my love, my mind, you keep me guessing, but I can't draw the line. How do you know when it's time? How do you know when it's time, 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 time? How do you know when it's time? Thank you.
Thank